Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's Alien 3, brought to us by LJN. Based on the third movie in the hit Alien saga, in Alien 3 we play as one of the main characters of the film's Lieutenant Ripley, as she is now on a new planet taking out aliens once again. While the game at first may seem like a pretty typical action game for the NES, our goal in Alien 3 is actually to travel along each level and save different soldiers before we're actually able to complete each stage. One of the fun things is you do get a good variety of guns to use in order to take out the aliens. However, of course, some guns work better than others. While a lot of the time, movie licensed games that also get made for multiple systems usually have something different about them. However, for the most part, the Alien 3 games, which are also available on Super Nintendo, Genesis, Sega Master System, and Game Gear, is pretty much just an updated version of this game. So here we go with Alien 3 for the NES. At the startup, you do have a few options, including being able to turn off the sound effects, as well as being able to turn off the music. This game also features multiple difficulties, and you can actually choose the amount of lives you want to have. But I'm just going to be playing on the default difficulty, as well as having the default amount of lives. As we begin the first level, you can see at the bottom of the screen, you have a time limit, as well as a number after a PR. That means how many, of course, prisoners we have left to save. Your life bar is located to the right of that. You can also see what kind of gun you have, the amount of ammo you have left, and as well as the meter that shows if you accidentally hold a gun for too long, it'll overheat. Going down this ladder and heading over to the left, we'll save our first prisoner. In the game, the prisoners as well as the aliens all spawn at the same points each time you play, so after a few playthroughs, you'll memorize where all the prisoners are located, as well as have a pretty good idea of when an alien is about to attack you. At times, you'll also have to locate different switchboards so you can open up different paths to other areas of the stages. Climb up here using these little platforms so that you can grab the prisoner above and save him. Then, work your way down. Be very careful though in the game, you can't fall long distances without hurting yourself, so you'll have to wait for platforms at times. You'll have a few aliens after opening up this door, so just have your gun ready. In this area, drop down, but be sure to hug the left wall when you fall so you don't fall too far down. When you get to the bottom though, be ready because there will be a couple of aliens walking around. Head over to the left just enough and you'll see a hanging alien. Shoot it before you attempt to go over there, as it'll be easier now. Continue on and open up the gate and then climb up the very first ladder and grab some of the supplies at the top. After you come back down, go over to the left and save the prisoner, and then go down the ladder that leads down to save the next one. By heading all the way to the right, you'll enter one of the ventilation systems. We'll be seeing a few of these throughout the game, and thankfully you can fire while in here because there will be aliens from time to time. Through all these ventilation chambers in the game, most of them only have 1 or 2 exits at most, and a lot of the extra paths are just going to lead to dead ends or eventually turn back into the same path. When you get to the bottom and get to the end though, you've completed stage number 1. At the very beginning of Stage 2, there will be a larger alien right next to you, so get ready to fire at it immediately. After getting down the ladder, take out the alien to your right, but then head left to grab the first prisoner. After taking out this alien, walk over to the right and drop down to the elevator. Just to the left will be 2 aliens, one on the bottom and then one hanging to the ceiling. When you get closer, he'll drop down. Then, go to the left and jump over the gap and climb the ladder to save the second prisoner. Once you've done so, head back down and go to the elevator and ride it down. Once again, there will be a few aliens, so be ready. After saving the third prisoner, go back up the elevator and start heading right. After going up a couple of elevators, jump up these platforms. You may have noticed by now that the jumping isn't perfect in this game by any means, so some of the trickier jumps may give you some trouble. When you come to this ladder, head down and then ride the elevator. Make it over the gap so you can save the prisoner over to the left. Once you have him, then head down the gap itself. Be careful though, there will be an alien at the bottom ready to pounce at you, so be sure to fall behind it so you can get some good shots in. Then open up the switch and grab the last prisoner of the stage. Once you have him, head down the ladders so you can get to the bottom and eventually make it over to the left to get to the ventilation system. Once again, be sure to take out any aliens that may also be in the ventilation system as you're making your way through. Thankfully though, it's a relatively straightforward path that you have to take in order to get to the end here. Any of the other paths are pretty much leading to dead ends. It may take a while, but when you're finally able to make it down to the very bottom and crawl a long ways over to the right, you'll get outside of the ventilation system and complete the stage. Now it's time for the first boss of the game. Immediately get behind the enemy and keep firing at him with your choice of gun. Walking over to the right should net you a little bit more ammo. After a little bit of going to the right, hold jump and then start heading back to the left. Be sure to run enough away from him so you can avoid getting hit by his jump as well as by the spit he throws out. Just keep repeating the process over and over until you're able to destroy him and complete the level by going back to the right. You'll see at the beginning of the next level that the background and surroundings do change up after a boss. Start off by going down and heading down the ladders. You'll split off and go down the next ladder to the left, being sure to grab the supplies along the way. At this point, we also have grenades, and these are very useful for dropping down off of a ladder and taking out an alien that's running back and forth without you actually getting off the ladder yourself yet. While they were in the first level, you'll start to see a few of these slanted platforms. You're not able to actually stand on them, but if you jump down where one is and hit it, you'll end up rolling off of it. There will be a few times where we probably take that as a shortcut, but just remember if you fall down a set of them, you won't be able to get yourself back up to the previous platform. Head over to the right, jumping over the platform so you can make it, and then grab the prisoner over here as well before heading back to the left and now going down to that ladder. First, head over to the right and take out the alien so he won't be a problem, and then go back left to the ladder. Over here, climb inside the ventilation system, and this time though it's not exactly at the end of the level yet. Head all the way over to the left and you'll come out on the other side where you'll be able to save another one of those prisoners. Then head back over to the right by jumping over the gap and taking out the alien. Get on the elevator over to the right, but don't get off at the top floor, instead ride it back down. Get off at this floor and head over to the left so you can save the prisoner, then you'll have to wait a little bit for the elevator to come back. After the elevator goes past you all the way back up, fall down the elevator itself all the way down to the bottom. You will get damaged some, but then you'll be able to recover and start walking over to the left where you can save the prisoner and then go into the ventilation system to the end of this stage. After getting to the end of the ventilation system, we've now completed stage number 3. At the beginning of the next level, jump on the elevator and ride it down to the left, opening up the panel so you can save the first prisoner. Then, get back on the elevator and take it back up. You can then jump along the platform so you can go over to the right, being careful of the alien that's probably going to be waiting for you on that side. All the way over though, there's a ladder, so climb up a couple of them, and you'll eventually make it into another area. Be careful of the running back and forth alien, taking it out with whatever gun you prefer, and then all the way to the left where you'll have to make it up some small platforms. All the way to the top though of it, and on the left side, there will be another one of the prisoners to save. Then, after getting that prisoner, go down the ladder just a little bit and head over to the right. You'll then make it into a nice big corridor where you can work your way down. There's a few different guns in the game, including the pulse rifle, which is our default gun, the flamethrower, a grenade launcher, the hand grenades themselves, as well as, of course, you can get first aid kits and weapon replenishment or weapon ammo. There's also a radar that you can find in certain levels, which will help you locate the prisoners if you don't have a guide to go by. Be sure to jump up here and jump all the way up so you'll be able to save the prisoner who's just located slightly above you. Then, drop down the platforms and go inside the ventilation system. After running through, go over to the left to save the guy and then go back in. Over on the right, drop down the platforms, being careful of the alien below. Then, head over to the left and you'll get inside another ventilation system. Thankfully now, since we've saved all the prisoners, we just have to work our way through here. Choosing the right ladder is the easier way since there's no alien on that one. Once you get to the bottom of the ladder though, head right to complete the level. Next up, it's time for boss battle number 2. Start off the boss by running over to the right, picking up the health if you need it at this point. Remember, it's up there in case you get hurt during the battle. Grab the extra ammo and then meet the alien over on the left side. Run over here near the exit of the stage and just stand here and wait for the alien to slightly come in. He'll keep doing this over and over again, and as you can see, he always spits over to the right or right before he comes in, so he'll never be able to hit you with his projectiles. So just stand here, take your time, and use whatever ammo you would like on him, and when you defeat him, you'll be able to exit the stage and move on. In the beginning of the next level, walk a few steps and an alien will drop down from the ceiling. There's a total of 6 prisoners that we have to save during this stage. Walk to the right and then fall down this pit. Once you land, take out the alien and continue over to the right. You can hit the switch, or if you have plenty of rockets at this point, just use one of those to blow up the doors instead of actually opening it if you feel like it. Make it over the gap, take out another alien, and then head into the ventilation system, taking the ladder down. Head down this ladder and then drop down to the platforms below. If you're hugging the right wall when you're falling down, you won't take too much damage when you end up landing. Once we finally do land though, head over to the left, blowing up the door, hitting the switch, and you can save the first prisoner. Then, head back over to the right and jump up all the platforms that we had fallen down before, and jump to the moving one so you can get over to the left. When you make it to the top, head over to the left. Ignore the prison that you'll see below, and instead go over to the left and save one there, before then going to the elevator and saving the other one. Then head down the ladder and head into the elevator to the left, immediately getting off, blowing up the door, and taking out another alien before saving the 5th prisoner. We now have only one more left to save in the stage. Head back to the right and get on the elevator and ride it down this time. Once you get off of it, destroy the alien and continue over to the left to save the last prisoner, before then heading back right to the ventilation system. When you make it out of the vent, you'll fall down and you can bounce along the different platforms. Take out the alien and then enter the next vent over to the right. Head all the way right, ignoring all up ladders until eventually you come to a down ladder. Take out the alien and continue working your way over. Use your gun or grenades to take out the alien on the ladder to the left before trying to head down it yourself. After crawling left for what seems like forever, you'll finally make it out of the vent and complete the stage. Now it's time for level 6, and now we have to save 7 prisoners in this level. But thankfully one's right at the very beginning by going through the first vent. While standing on the bottom of the platform, throw a grenade to the top platform in order to take out the alien. Then start climbing up the ladder. At this point I'll use the flamethrower for a little bit because it's extremely effective, killing the aliens in only a couple of seconds. After falling down here, take out the alien to the right and continue over, opening up the switch. There'll be another alien right away, then you'll have to open up another room before being able to save the next prisoner. Then head up the ladder right next to him and you'll save the next one. After getting inside a vent system and climbing down a long ladder, get off at the first turn to the left. Be careful of the alien, you'll save a prisoner. Then jump up some small platforms, being careful not to fall down, and save another one. You should now only have to save 2 more. Then fall down to the platforms below and start heading over to the right. You'll see a prisoner above you, but you'll have to jump off the right platform in order to get up there. Then go inside the vent and start climbing up. Get back off on the same point we had gotten off to save the previous prisoners. But now head jumping across all the way over to the left, blowing up the wall, and getting access to another ventilation system. Ignore the ladder for now and instead head over to the left, opening up the door and saving the last prisoner for the stage. Then go back in the vent and go down the ladder this time. Ride the elevator all the way down and then head inside the vent. You'll have a choice of either going through the upper or bottom path. They both will technically lead about the same area, but you're willing to go to the ladder that leads down first, so take the bottom path to get to it easier. Head down here, taking out the alien that's going to try to get you, and continue over to the right. When you get to the next ladder, ignore it, and instead head up the next ladder over to the right of it. Then you'll be in the last vent, and after you exit, you'll complete the stage. And now it's time to battle the next boss of the game. Head off to the right and then drop down so you can pick up the ammo. Then start jumping up the platforms again. By this time, the alien will have jumped over to the left side. Then start blasting it from behind with your flamethrower. Continue following it until it turns around. Then start heading back to the right, slowly hitting it a few more times until you get near the end, in which case then drop down to the platforms below, and this will allow you to avoid getting hit by the slime. Then just wait a few seconds for it to jump back over to the left side and repeat the process. It'll only take 2 times if you're using the flamethrower, and you'll take him out and move on to the next stage. We're now down to only 2 more missions and 1 more boss battle. In stage number 7, you have to save 4 prisoners. I must say this is probably my favorite stages just because I think the backgrounds and colors are a little bit better than some of the other levels we've already been to. Head down this ladder, and if you need some extra supplies, be sure to grab them before doing so, and get to the elevator so you can head over to the right and go through the vent to save the first prisoner of the level. Then drop down the slanted platforms and bounce around until you reach the bottom. When you get up though, be sure to take out the alien before your invulnerability runs out. Head over to the left and drop down the platforms. Wait for the alien to run back over to the right so you can drop down, take it out, and save the next prisoner. You'll probably then have to wait a few seconds for the elevator to come back down so you can get on it. Run over here all the way over to the right. You'll then have a series of small platforms and you'll have to jump your way up to the top. When you make it, you'll then climb up a ladder and then do a jump in the air to save the prisoner. Then jump over to the right and start climbing up the next set of little platforms, eventually coming to the end over to the right. Walk a little bit, taking out the alien that's going to plop down from the ceiling, and then head into the vent. Make your way over to the right. You'll have a few aliens though that you'll have to take out along the way. Wait for the alien to walk over to the left before hitting it from behind so you can take it out. Then fall down the long corridor downwards. While making your way through the vent, then drop down, ignoring the elevator since there's a bunch of small platforms that you can go down instead. Ignore both ladders and continue to the left where the stage will eventually end. Level number 8 is the final level where you actually have to save prisoners. The only stage after this will be the one where we fight the final boss. Start off by immediately going down, being sure to grab the prisoner before falling all the way down to the bottom. Ignore the prisoner over to the right for now, because we won't be able to make an easy jump over to him and you can't move while falling. So to get to him, head up here to the right, taking out the alien along your way, and eventually you'll jump down a bunch of these little slanted platforms, landing, and then work your way over to the left, and that's where you'll be able to save him. Once he's saved, drop down the platforms and start going to the right. Climb up a series of small platforms, be sure to watch out for the alien that's going to be moving back and forth, and take him out when you make your jump up. Continue over to the right and you'll save the third prisoner. We now have only 2 more left to save. Then continue moving up the very small platforms and take out another one of the aliens and you'll save the next one. We're down to only 1 more prisoner left. Now head back down all the way down to the bottom and continue over to the left this time instead of going back up. Take out the alien, you'll eventually come to a vent system. Start working your way down. Head out of it and you'll see a conveyor belt moving back and forth. If you need the ammo, be sure to grab the item before continuing over to the right. Be careful though, because you're going to have to jump over the pit and continue over to the right. After just a little bit, you'll come to another one. Use the moving platform in order to get over there this time. After taking out 1 more alien, you'll finally save the last prisoner of the game. Now go back to the previous pit and work your way down. Watch out for the aliens and go inside the vent system. You'll be able to grab a couple of supplies before making your way back into another vent system, which will eventually lead to the end of the stage. After going through the very long and winding corridor, you'll make it to the end, and now it's time for the final boss. This boss is by far the hardest in the game, and rightfully so since he's the final. Start off by using your default gun and immediately start firing at his back. Then head over to the right and drop down on the platform so he'll jump over you and you'll be able to avoid his spit. Then follow him over to the left using your flamethrower as he continues to walk right. Once again, when you make it to the edge, be sure to drop down to the previous platforms below so you can dodge the spit that he throws out. Then jump back up and head over to the left in order to fight him again. But the battle's not over yet, we have another one to take out at the bottom. Drop all the way down to the bottom, and then try to jump up to these platforms and wait for him to go under you. When he does, head over to the right and start hitting him from behind until he jumps over you and starts going left. The slightly elevated platform is a safe spot so you can stand there and let him jump over you when he's coming back over to the right, and you'll avoid all spit and all contact with him. Just keep hitting him in the back with your flamethrower, and it'll only take a little bit to take him out. Then, jump up to the right and finish the level. And that's it for the ending. Then the credits after just a few words start to scroll across the bottom, and you've completed Alien 3 for the NES. While this game is definitely nothing to write home about, it's still not one of the worst efforts that LJN was able to put out for the NES. After seeing "Please play again" at the bottom, it'll then say the end, and it'll eventually go to one last screen before the game ends up resetting to the very beginning. You'll get to see your high score and your final score, and then the game goes back to the title screen where you can start the madness all over again. And with that, that's going to wrap up this edition of Play It Through. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.